Chief Judge Pro Tem Williams, Pastor Williams, Deputy Chief Stewart.
Present.
Ms. Smith is on Zoom. Ms. Robinson,
Present.
Mr. Howard, Mr. Harris,
Present.
Chief Dunlap,
Present.
Mr. Chirikian,
Here.
Mr. Bruno,
Very pleased to be here.
Chief Judge Pro Tem Braxton, Chairwoman Clark Coleman.
Here,
You have a quorum present.
thank you. Next item,
Moving to page 2, item B, remarks from the chair.
I have none.
Moving to item C, approval of the April 26, 2023 meeting minutes.
Can I have a motion on the minutes?
Move to approve.
Who did that?
Me.
Okay,
Second.
okay. All right, it's been properly moved and supported. Are there questions on the motion? On item C? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries. Next item.
Item D, unfinished business. There is none. Moving to item E1, under new business, appointment of Paul Bruno to the board.
Okay, very good.
Good afternoon. Through the chair, Ebony McCann, Wayne County Adult Community Corrections Administrator. I am pleased to have Mr. Bruno back at the table. He previously served on the Community Corrections Advisory Board. And so he's quite familiar with what it is that we do. His term expired during COVID, and so he is now back representing our esteemed prosecutor. And it is definitely a joy to have you back at the table. Mr. Bruno, if you'd like to say anything to the body.
I enjoyed the many years that I was here previously. Very grateful that we all survived the challenges of
yeah.
COVID, and very remorseful about those that didn't. This group is one of the most meaningful groups in Wayne County, because I truly believe that CCAB provides a path toward rehabilitation for many, many individuals. I'm just very grateful to be allowed to participate in the process, and Kim Worthy is
So did Tony twist your arm?
oh, for the record, by the way, I was sworn in. I don't know that I needed to be, but I was sworn in earlier today by former Michigan District Court Judge Anthony Guerrero
Oh.
for this position. I just wanted that to be of record. So,
Well, I'll thank Tony for that service. Okay, well, welcome back.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, you received a unanimous vote from the commission.
Well, I appreciate it. I wanted to be there, but
Oh, that's okay.
I had an issue that day.
Sure, sure. Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
Moving to item E2, review and approval of the MDOC fiscal year 2023 third quarter report.
Good afternoon again, Ebony McCann. This is the quarterly report that is due to MDOC Quarterly, which tracks our expenditures and utilization. I am pleased that our utilization has increased. The past 2 quarters have been rough. And so I am definitely thankful for the hard work of the community correction staff, the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, the Michigan Department of Corrections, and all of our other criminal justice partners who have worked tirelessly to identify eligible participants, accommodate and allow time for the assessment for them to engage in programming, and then following up once they enter into the community, ensuring that they are actually participating in programming. And so as noted on page 2 of the actual quarterly report, they aren't numbered, but this is the page where it's titled Program Utilization and Key Performance Measurements. And I'll just go over our current funded programs. Lake Ridge Village, we projected fiscal year. You see it, Chief Dunlap. It's in your commission package.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Did you say page 2?
Yeah, they're not.
It's at the
numbered, but-
back. It's at the back of the
Correct.
package.
Okay, I see it.
Okay. Lake Ridge Village, we projected 60 new enrollments for fiscal year 2023. And as of June 30th, we had 77 participants. So they've exceeded and will exceed their projected utilization, which is amazing. And I'm quite, with them being a new program, I'm extremely pleased. And I can't again thank the Wayne County Sheriff's Office enough for accommodating the space and staffing in the jail to accommodate Lake Ridge. They've been more than welcoming and engaging. And I believe the Deputy Heron deserves some type of accommodation because he definitely is passionate about community corrections and the programming that we provide. He goes above and beyond ensuring that there is adequate time for programming and space. And so I just wanted to put that on the record. I will skip over the trauma-informed care. I'll come to that vendor last. As it pertains to ETRS, DVT, both jail and community-based, there was a lapse of service. The previous provider's contract expired March 31st. And we had to accommodate time for an RFP to be issued and a contract to be executed. And so the contract was executed effective, I want to say the first week of July. And beginning on July 9th, ETRS, with the help of Deputy Mitchell Heron, began enrolling participants immediately into that program. And so I do anticipate that if they don't exceed their utilization for fiscal year 2023, that they will meet their utilization. We projected that there would be 30 jail-based enrollments in domestic violence and 75 community-based enrollments. According to as of June 30th, and 28 as of in the community base as of June 30th. And so they may not necessarily exceed, but I do anticipate that we will meet our projected utilization for domestic violence, both jail and community based. Wayne County Sheriff's Office GPS Tether. We have provided or continue to provide service to 126 offenders from fiscal year 2022 and enrolled this fiscal year 246. And so we do anticipate that the Wayne County Sheriff's Office will meet their projected utilization of 400 for fiscal year 2023. As it pertains to Wayne County apprehension, we have apprehended 47 offenders. That number, we projected 150. That 47 is relatively low, but it is a positive low because that means that individuals are not absconding from residential treatment facility centers, nor are they violating the terms and conditions of their specialty court program terms of probation. And so while we accommodated for or allotted for 150 individuals to be apprehended, that 47 number is a positive for the Community Corrections Advisory Board. And so I think you all should not only pat yourselves on the back, but also give a special thanks to our criminal justice partners, specifically those specialty court providers who are keeping those participants engaged in treatment and programming. Wayne County Sheriff's Office 5-day housing, we have exceeded our projected utilization of 75. We have to date, or June 30th, enrolled 78 participants in our 5-day housing program. ETRS DDJR, we projected 75 new enrollments for fiscal year 2023. We provided service to 110 offenders who carried over from fiscal year 2022. And we've actually enrolled 105 fiscal year 2023. So we have exceeded our utilization for drunk driver jail reduction, which is an outpatient drunk driving curriculum that ETRS provides. I paused and skipped over the FQHC trauma-informed care program, which is a program that specifically targets our female offenders in the community. That contract was executed mid-May. late May. And we have struggled with this program with identifying potential participants to engage in this program. It is a community-based program. Our vendor or subcontractor, Black Family Development, has identified a method in which they believe will assist with recruiting and identifying potential participants. They've hired a peer support specialist who will work with Michigan Department of Corrections and her other criminal justice partners to identify potential eligible female offenders for this program. And so it is my hope that through her assistance that we will be able to admit some individuals into this program. As of June 30th, we've only received 5 or 6 referrals. And so again, just trying to identify a way in which we can identify potential participants and get them engaged in programming, because it does not, make any sense to identify them without them enrolling and engaging in programming. And so that's where we are with this program. This program was highly sought after. It was identified as a need for our community. And I am grateful to Black Family Development for their willingness and commitment to ensuring that we are capturing all potential participants. And they definitely have gone above and beyond by hiring this peer support specialist to assist with our efforts. That concludes the actual utilization. Again, overall, we are definitely have more favorable results than we did the first 2 quarters of the fiscal year. And so I think we can all walk out of here with a smile today because of the hard work and our continued commitment. What you don't see on this report is the gun violence prevention program, which is something that we are still working through or working with. I did have the opportunity to meet with the former executive director of Ceasefire. She is now employed by Lake Ridge Village, and she was extremely insightful and has identified the appropriate personnel at Ceasefire for us to consult with to see what gaps in service may exist. There are also some initiatives, and I think I indicated this during a full board. There are some other initiatives. The City of Detroit and the Wayne County Executive is leading efforts to develop a robust gun violence prevention program. And so what we don't want to do is to overstep or duplicate work. And so my intent is to watch and wait to see what comes out of this task force that our wonderful county executive has developed, and see how we can partner with those agencies with the funding that we've received from MDOC. I don't have anything further.
Okay, so we need to approve the report.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
For Ebony, the contract with ETRS expired. It was May 31st it expired. And I know our fiscal year is generally, it is October 1st through September 30th of each year. So the new contract with ETRS that's effective July 1st, what's the end date of that contract so we don't run into a gap?
It's a 3-year contract. I'll have to get the actual end date, but it is a 3-year contract with 2 1-year options to renew. So essentially 5 years, if provided that ETRS continues to provide the service, but they do have 2 1-year renewal options in their contract. But I'll get the actual expiration date for you and send it to the body.
Okay, because the question would be to make, one of the concerns, of course, is because it created a gap
Yes.
during that time period where individuals were not eligible to enroll into services. It's good to see that they ramped it up. The deputy was able to get people enrolled pretty quickly back into the services. But if there's a way to make sure that our contracts are going consistent with our fiscal year each year so that we don't run into any gaps in services, I think that would be a good direction to go. And sharing with the board the contract timeframes for all of our contracted vendors to see if there's any potential gaps that might come up in the future, if that could be shared with us as well.
Absolutely.
If I may make a comment, I think also it's related to the courts being back on track and the jail population is actually ticking up. And so I'm relatively confident that the increased utilization that we're seeing is related to that also.
Bruno.
I had a question regarding the apprehension category. It appears that of the 47 apprehension referrals, only 21 were apprehended. I'm wondering if we have any knowledge about what the 21 individuals who were apprehended claimed. Was it a communication problem? Did they abscond deliberately? Do we know any of that information?
So the key performance measurement for adult apprehension is tracking the number of absconded offenders who are apprehended within 30 days. So that 21 out of 47 just identifies that there were 21 offenders who were apprehended within 30 days of the actual receipt of the apprehension notification. It does not, in the Wayne County Sheriff's Office maintains a report, does not speak to why they potentially absconded. It does speak to the method and means in which and where they absconded. And I can say or share that through the review of that report, a lot of people turn themselves in. And it does not require an exhaustive apprehensive efforts by the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. But I guess that's something that we can potentially add. I don't know if that will, or how much of a burden or hardship that would add to the Wayne County Sheriff's Office to have them, go that extra step to ask what occurred, what transpired to make them abscond or what caused them to abscond. But that's definitely something that we can consider.
Well, it impacts the court to the extent that when we assemble, we get witnesses there and the judge's time has been allocated for that case. And then if the accused doesn't show up, the whole system starts to break down. And back when I first started many decades ago, I was a defense attorney. And I remember my clients, I would tell them about the date and try to make sure that they would be there. And then sometimes they wouldn't show up and the excuse a lot of times was, sorry, I just overslept.
Yeah, right.
Something like that, but it costs us a lot of money in the court system when people don't appear as they're supposed to. It inconveniences not only the witnesses, but defense attorneys and untold other people as well here. So I was curious if that was being, any of that information was being compiled. And I think it would help in possibly guiding how the people are being notified. Some of them simply don't want to come back. They think they're being charged improperly. But I think the majority, I suspect, just forget. And there might be another way of notifying them or reminding them somehow. So anyway, thank you, Ray.
So I can probably comment on that. A lot of the absconders, well, anytime someone absconds and they're apprehended, that information does go to the court. So the court knows because the officer has to do a report and notify the court that this person is back in the jail. And so they are tracking the information. But there's a lot of ways you can abscond. You can abscond simply by not charging your device. And the officer will call them and give them a warning, hey, you need to charge up your device, or you're going to be considered an absconder and brought in. And so while there's very few of those, off the top of my head, I can't say that there was probably a combination of recently some being involved in other criminal activity, but I don't have the detailed stats, but they should be able to give you that without any additional work.
And I had one follow-up to that as well. Now that I see that we're under the amount of money that was allocated for this, I'm worried that they may cut back or somehow it may get cut back under the new budget. Please allay my fears about that.
Utilization is always considered when we receive our annual award from the Office of Community Corrections. But that does not necessarily mean that we requested a specific amount. And while those funds may not be allocated to apprehension, it could be allocated to a different program that we provide. So one of the programs where there has been an increase in utilization next fiscal year when we receive the award, that award will be presented to this body. We'll have the opportunity to identify the overall amount of funding that we received from the Office of Community Corrections. And as a board, we will determine how those funds are allocated. So you'll have the opportunity to weigh in as to where or how we can move the money or place the money based on the previous fiscal year's utilization.
Thank you.
Can I get a clarification for me?
Yes.
This category is strictly for tether absconders or people who capias in general?
So what the Wayne County Sheriff's Office provides two services. They provide GPS tethers for our pretrial defendants. And then apprehension provides apprehension for those offenders who were, one, sentenced to participate in specialty court, mental health court, drug court, veterans treatment court, or they've been sent to a PRS facility, a probation residential service treatment center, and they failed to violate the terms and conditions there. So we're only able to pay for individuals for apprehension efforts who fall into those two specific categories.
Because there's a lot more people.
That is
capias
correct.
Fail to appear.
That is
and
correct.
It's reflected here.
Absolutely.
Also, Ebony, for those that you mentioned that are specialty court, it's those that absconded from treatment, not just those who are generally placed under those specialty courts for supervision who become an absconder, or is it?
So specialty court participants, they have terms and conditions of their order of probation and they fail to comply. They fail to report to a status conference. They fail to report to a mental health court session in the community or treatment in the community. The case manager of specialty court can present a bench warrant to the judge signs it, and then those are considered apprehension or eligible for us to apprehend through absconders. Additionally, those individuals that have been sent to a PRS facility, so not necessarily sentenced to a specialty court, but we have individuals that are administratively released to a PRS facility. And if they fail to comply with the terms at the PRS facility, apprehension referral notification is sent to us and we can actually go after them as well. So there are two categories, specialty courts and apprehension, and those that abscond from a PRS facility.
All the above.
Okay, so if a person fails to attend a case conference in specialty court because they forgot to go potentially, those are being classified as absconders?
If that case manager issues a bench warrant for whatever reason, if based on their status conference with the judge, the MDOC probation officer that is a part of that team, if during those team meetings, they determine that a bench warrant is necessary, yes, they can submit a bench warrant and we will cover the cost for that.
Okay, so now we need to go and we need to approve item number 2, which is the review. Did I get anyone to, did we get a motion and a support?
No.
Okay, can I get a motion and support?
I so moved.
Okay,
Second.
do we have a support?
Second.
Okay, been properly moved and supported that we approve the Michigan Department of Corrections fiscal year 2023 third quarter report. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Those opposed? The motion carries. Next item.
Item E3, review of community corrections program literature.
Ebony McCann again. Last week, I had the opportunity to attend the Third Circuit Court Judicial Bench meeting where all of the judges were present and I was able to provide them with an overview of our community corrections programming. This PowerPoint was made available to the bench as well as Michigan Department of Corrections, and I will send you all the electronic form as well. I just wanted it in your hands for the sake of this meeting. But it identifies or outlines what it is that community corrections actually does, who we are, how we manage and how we receive funding. It also lists and identifies all of you as members of the Community Corrections Advisory Board, why the board is necessary and through what act. And then it goes through our current funded program. So all of the programs we just discussed and utilization, but it goes further and it tells the judges who is eligible, through what charge, and the contact information in the event that they have any additional questions regarding the programming. I also wanted to include in this presentation how referrals are driven and how they are issued. There have been a lot of discussions in the past regarding whom the referral document should go to in an attempt to avoid confusion, to kind of streamline the process. I've requested that the referral documents come directly to community correction staff, and we will ensure that our vendors receive the appropriate documentation along with the Michigan Department of Correction assigned probation agent. So again, just trying to streamline this process. Prior to COVID, we did have a community corrections, several staff members who were embedded in the courtrooms on a day-to-day basis. Our staff has been significantly reduced, and we have one staff member that is attending Zoom sessions, and so she can't be everywhere. And so this document was created to assist and kind of streamline the process. It is a living document. I know that it will require some modifications. At previous meetings, Ms. Robinson requested potentially not a Zoom link, but like a hyperlink that a judge can be sent, or it could be emailed, and it will link up directly to like a referral document. And so as we progress and think outside of the box, I think that we have the ability to accommodate such requests, again, to ensure that we are capturing all appropriate referrals and participants to our programming. So I'll make sure that you receive this document electronically as well.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
First, let me commend you. I think that was great that you presented to the bench. Did you get a lot of questions from them about can the funding be used for mental health treatment?
They were very quiet. We did not receive
Oh, really?
questions.
Really?
No, they were
Still
very
trying to take
quiet.
it in. All
And
right.
so I can, and this was should have been under other such matters, but I do know that I received a phone call from Judge Knapp on yesterday, and it appears that he will be the designee to serve for Third Circuit Court. And so hopefully for the fourth quarter meeting, Judge Knapp will be here as a member of the Community Corrections Advisory Board. And so to have that perspective from the bench, I think we've gone maybe a year and a half, well, the entire pandemic for the most part, with not having a voice or representative from Third Circuit Court.
Right.
And so I'm extremely excited at the possibility and what this means moving forward.
Yeah, they have a few changes over there, and they're very, very aggressively working to get the docket down, and they're making some good progress. So probably they needed a minute to digest.
Yes.
So how often do they meet,
I believe they meet quarterly as well.
the judges?
Yes, I believe.
Okay.
Don't hold
And
me to
so
that.
at this meeting, you can go and make presentations and give them suggestions as an alternative
Correct.
to jail.
I think that there was a lot of just confusion. We've had a lot of
Right.
changes, staffing changes, community corrections, MDLC has had a lot of staffing changes. We were out of the building or out of, actual work environment for at least a few years. And since that time, the bench has significantly changed with new judges. And I just don't think that they were aware. And so
I'm
the
sure.
awareness of
Mhm.
bringing who community corrections is and kind of fortifying that relationship that, for years was strong. And it's my goal to strengthen that relationship. They work closely with MDOC. So again, letting them know the services that community corrections provide, how we serve the bench and how we can be partners moving forward. I did request in the future, so for future meetings, while I attended this meeting, I think it's important for our vendors to go to the next few meetings. So if they have specific questions regarding programming, our vendors will be present to address those questions and concerns.
I totally agree with that. And I'm glad that you did go. And I think that it would be wise. But I don't know if they were all there.
No.
So it might be wise to go to several of them.
Yes,
So that you can catch those ones who didn't show up.
absolutely.
Okay.
Ebony, was the presentation sent electronically to the entire bench?
It was sent to Alyssa Shannon, who then will submit it or send it over to the entire bench.
They're gonna call and ask for it again anyway.
Yeah.
But great job.
Yeah, thank you. I will say, because Ebony, we've had a lot of conversations about a guide and making it user friendly, and this is, so I appreciate it truly. It's very
Me too.
clear. It tells, how to make a referral to targeted population. So that's extremely important. I know for our staff as well, which makes me still have some concern that we don't have a high number of referrals for the trauma-informed care. But I do appreciate too that you came and did a presentation with the staff. Black Family Development appeared and they did a presentation as well, which was very well received. What is the minimum number of clients that they have to have before they start a class? Because I know you mentioned that there were about 5 or 6 referrals they received for the trauma-informed care. Do you remember what the number is that they have to begin a class?
So MDOC constitutes a group as a minimum of 3, no more than 15 participants. However, we've received permission to conduct a group with at least 2 participants.
Okay.
So exceptions have been made. So hopefully, again, we will see an increase in utilization, but we can, if there are 2 participants that have been identified and have been scheduled, Black Family Development will go ahead and conduct a group with those 2.
Okay, because I heard you mention that it was 5 to 6 referrals you've already received. And I know on the utilization, it still reflects 0. So I was trying to figure out where are we in that, point of being able to move forward with making sure those 5 to 6 individuals actually start class, and whatever we need to do, just let me know.
So those 5 to 6 were identified or captured during quarter 4, the beginning of quarter 4. So post June 30th. So they were identified maybe that first week or so of July. So we have some for quarter 4.
Okay, well, that's good. That's a good start.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Yeah, I think that it needs to be on a regular basis.
Yes.
Because, and especially for those that didn't show up, even though you send them electronic, there's nothing like being there in person and interacting. I know I get a million proposals through, electronically. And
Right.
I don't have time to go through all that sort of stuff. I'm just going to be very frank. So if they're sitting there and you're having interactions with them, they can ask questions and all that. I think it's far more effective. So I would try to get on their schedule on a regular basis to come in and refresh, and then offer them, update them on what's going on so that they will then utilize those services.
I agree.
I'm sorry, one other question, Ebony. You had mentioned, I saw the utilization, but then there was a mention about the drunk driver jail reduction program having an RFP.
Yes.
So the last quarter, ETRS was the provider, so we're looking to get a new provider, or was it that the contract ended?
The contract expires September 30th.
Mhm.
The RFP was issued. Vendor or proposals are due, the RFP was issued on June 28th. Responses to the proposals are due on July 28th. The contract is tentatively to start on October 1st. So the RFP was issued June 28th. The proposals are due on July 28th. The team has already been identified, those individuals that will be reviewing those responses that we receive with the tentative contract start date of October 1st. I can share that in the past, when this RFP was issued, there were 2 respondents that responded to the RFP, the current provider and another source. And so I think as this is one of those services that is exclusive to what it is that we do here at Community Corrections, I think we'll probably receive those same 2 respondents. And so I don't anticipate any delays in the processing of the contract.
Anything else? Yes, go ahead, Paul.
I was curious about whether you're still being understaffed.
Yes, we are. But yeah, again, I'm extremely thankful for the 4 community corrections staff that are listed in this brochure. Mr. Michael Singleton, Lucille Battle, Lisa Allen, and Ronald Cadez, who is the Assistant Community Corrections Administrator, who's here in the auditorium today. And they work and they answer all of my calls. I don't believe I'm ever ignored, but they have gone above and beyond during this pandemic to extend themselves and ensure almost every day I speak with Mr. Gadez, his goal is to make sure that community corrections is not forgotten about. And so they work and they are committed to doing that. But yes, we are understaffed.
Any positions are open?
6 positions are open. There is, and it has been approved by commission, but a formal announcement has not been made. But community corrections and our jail health services will be created or a part of a newly formed department, Transitional Services Department, in the upcoming fiscal year. And so I am confident that some changes as a result of that change will assist with additional staff persons being hired. And again, working collectively, making sure that there is a mean of communication between community corrections and jail health, which for years, there's been beneficial for us to be merged into this one division. And so by the time we meet for Q4, I think that a different announcement will be made, but we'll wait till then.
From the Wayne County Prosecutor's perspective, we really appreciate the job you and the staff you have right now. You're doing a fabulous job, given the resources that have been provided to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I second that.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, so I intend to go over this very thoroughly, but it appears to me to be simplistic, and that's what you need.
Yes.
Yeah, but I intend to read over it and get a better, clearer understanding. But you said that this was sent out to all of the judges. They did receive it.
Yes.
Okay, so we actually can't take a test and find out how many actually read it.
They'll read it, but to their credit too, they'll probably, so with Eb going over there presenting it, and oftentimes myself or someone from the jail get to go before them.
Okay.
I mention programs like this, and so the judges will pick up the phone and say, "Hey, chief, I got this person in front of me. I don't think they need to be in the jail, but I don't know what to do with them."
Okay,
And that's when we'll say, well, hey, remember, we have these programs. Yeah.
okay, okay, very good. So do you guys go and present too, you say? You do?
Yeah, Judge Fazard is, very, very progressive like that. She wants to invite all of the resources and information possible into the court.
Okay.
So, yep.
Very good, very good. All right. Any other comments or questions? Okay, all right. Let's see, so that this is not to be approved. So this is just for our own review. That's not an action item. All right, next item, Madam Clerk.
Item F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the board.
I've not been informed of any.
Item G, public comments.
Okay. Is there anyone? Is there anyone from the public who would like to make a comment at this time, either on Zoom, on the phone, and if you have emails, Madam Clerk, which you can read those when I'm done. But if there's anyone who would like to make a comment this time, please do so. Are the lines unmuted?
All lines have been prompted to unmute.
Okay.
I don't see any hands at this time.
Okay, very good. Second call for public comment. Anyone would like to comment at this time, please do so. Third and final call for public comment. If you have a comment, you may make it at this time. Public comment is closed. Next item.